We spend a lot of time patting ourselves on the back for being Homo sapiens. Wise human.
It's a great brand name.
It really is. I mean, we climbed to the top of the food chain because we could outthink things, outcalculate, reason our way out of problems.
But there's this new theory we're looking at today, and it suggests that just being wise, just being the thinker, it might not be enough anymore.
Which is a bit of a scary thought.
It's unsettling. The argument is that in the age of AI, our evolutionary edge is kind of dulling. I mean, you can't outcalculate a machine.
No chance.
You can't outprocess data. So if thinking isn't our superpower anymore, we have to pivot. And that pivot leads to this concept, Homo Trustus.
Homo Trustus, the trusting human.
Exactly. So if Homo sapiens is the solitary calculator, Homo Trustus survives the AI age, not by outsmarting the algorithm, but by building these bonds of absolute trust with other humans.
So it's less I think, therefore I am, and more.
I trust, therefore we survive.
And this whole concept comes from a really fascinating source we're unpacking today. It's a book called Homo Trustus, The Architecture of Trust in the Age of AI Civilization.
Written by Do Woon Lee.
And before we get into the heavy stuff, and believe me, it gets heavy, we have to talk about who this guy is. Because his background is just, it's intense.
It really is. He has this incredibly unique vantage point. He was the spokesperson for the president of South Korea. But before that, he was the spokesperson for Ban Ki-moon.
The former UN Secretary General.
Yeah.
So he's been the voice for a nation and then the voice for the world.
Precisely. He's been in the rooms where global trust is literally manufactured and where it completely falls apart. He's seen the gears of reality at the highest possible level.
So when he says we're facing a system failure of reality, he's not just talking about, a funny deepfake in the cope and a puffer jacket.
No, not at all.
And that's really the mission for this deep dive. We're not just here to complain about fake news. We're looking at actual blueprints for rebuilding reality.
Because according to Lee, the old ways of knowing what's true, they're basically gone.
Gone.
They are. And the stats he kicks off with are just staggering. He talks about this collapse of society's firewall, government, media, experts.
That firewall.
In the U.S. alone, trust in government it's fallen off a cliff. From 77% in 1964 down to just 17% in 2025.
Wow. That's not a decline. That's a total collapse. The floor just fell out.
It is. And Lee says this isn't just, people being cynical. It's a structural failure. But this is where it gets really, terrifying.
Yeah.
He introduces this economic concept he calls the liar's dividend.
Okay, let's break this down. The liar's dividend. It sounds like something from Wall Street, but it's way more sinister.
It is. See, normally we worry about deepfakes fooling people, right?
Yeah.
You see a video of a politician saying something awful and you believe it. That's bad.
Sure.
But the liar's dividend is the other side of that coin. It's the fact that the mere existence of deepfakes lets bad actors deny objective reality.
Oh, I see. So even if a video is 100% real, a politician is caught red-handed, they can just shrug and say,
it's a deepfake.
And it works.
Exactly. Because we all know deepfakes are possible, it casts doubt on everything. They get a dividend, a benefit from all that confusion. And the economics of this are just brutal.
The asymmetry he talks about.
Yeah. To create a high-quality deepfake that can destroy a reputation or a stock price, it costs about $4.
$4.
Yes.
That's a cup of coffee.
A cheap one. But to defend against it, to do the forensic analysis, the PR, the legal work to prove you didn't do that thing, that's about $500,000.
So it's an unwinnable war. You can't play defense when the numbers are like that. $4 versus $500,000.
Right. And Lee has this one line in the book that it floored me. Evil has been industrialized. Good has been personalized.
Wow.
The attackers use AI and automation. The defenders, the fact-checkers, the journalists are all doing manual labor. You just can't keep up.
And this isn't theoretical. I mean, we're seeing it happen. That story from The Source about the finance director in Hong Kong, that one just blew my mind.
The $25 million heist, it's the perfect case study for this new era.
It is. So walk us through it, because I think a lot of us, we assume, I'd know if I was talking to a fake person.
You'd think so. But look at this scenario. A finance director at a big multinational firm gets a message from his CFO about a secret transaction. He's a little skeptical at first.
Okay, good. So he's cautious.
Right. So he says, let's hop on a video call to confirm.
Smart move. You check the faces, you hear the voices.
He logs on. He sees his CFO, a guy he's worked with for years. He sees other colleagues on the call from the UK office. They're talking, they're nodding, they're looking at him.
So it seems totally normal.
It looks like any other boring video conference. So reassured by seeing them, he authorizes the transfer. $25 million.
And of course, the money vanishes.
The money was gone. But here's the kicker.
Wait.
He was the only real person on that call.
No, every single other person.
AI clones, deepfakes, generated in real time using public footage of those executives.
That is absolutely terrifying. To think you're in a meeting with your team, but you're actually sitting alone in a digital hall of mirrors.
And it shows how they hacked what Lee calls the shell of authority. We are wired biologically to trust what we see and hear.
If I see your face, I hear your voice, my brain says, that's my colleague.
Exactly. The scammers didn't have to hack the bank's firewall. They hacked the human trust protocol.
So, okay, the firewall is down, the economics are impossible, and our own senses are being weaponized against us. What happens next? Lee lays out 3 possible futures, and honestly, the first 2 are pretty bleak.
They are stark warnings. Scenario 1 he calls slow collapse, the era of exhaustion.
This one feels like the late Roman Empire, right?
That's the perfect comparison, or the Soviet Union's era of stagnation. It isn't a big sudden explosion, it's a coordination failure.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that figuring out what is true takes so much mental energy that people just stop trying.
That sounds depressingly familiar. You just check out, you disengage.
You withdraw. It's like a cognitive tax. If every news article you read or video you watch requires a full forensic investigation, you eventually just stop. You retreat to your tribe, and society just fragments.
It's the burnout of civilization itself.
It is.
Okay, so that's the future where we all just give up. What's scenario 2? I'm guessing it's the complete opposite.
It is. Scenario 2 is consolidation, or as he calls it, the algorithmic empire. And for this, he uses a really powerful visual, the city of Ashgabat in Turkmenistan.
The city of white marble. I looked up pictures of this place. It's wild. It's eerie.
It's stunning, right? Huge white marble buildings, gold statues, perfectly clean streets. But if you look closely at the photos,
there's nobody there. It's Epstein.
Exactly. It's pristine, it's orderly, it's efficient, but it's hollow.
And this is his metaphor for a controlled internet.
A controlled reality. In this future, we trade our freedom for stability. We use AI for frictionless compliance.
So the deepfakes and the chaos stop.
They stop, but only because a central authority, a government, a giant corporation is telling everyone what the single source of truth is.
So it's safe, but it's a gilded cage.
It's order without trust. You don't need to trust anyone because the system ensures compliance. It's the end of autonomy.
I don't like option 1, and I definitely don't like option 2. Please tell me there's a third way.
There is. Scenario 3 is reconstruction, the architecture of trust. And for this, Lee takes us to a totally different kind of building. Hafegi House in Reykjavik.
In Iceland.
There.
That's where Reagan and Gorbachev met.
Back in 1986, it's this modest little white house on the coast. But something incredible happened there. 2 superpowers on the edge of nuclear war, they met in person.
They didn't rely on algorithms or data streams.
No. They sat in a room. They built trust through physical presence, through verifiable reality.
So this third future is about rejecting that false choice between chaos and authoritarianism.
Exactly. It's about designing systems where trust is an architectural property. We stop just hoping people will be good and start building an infrastructure where trust is the default.
We build a digital Hoofy house.
That's the goal.
So let's get into the blueprints. How do we actually build this thing? Lee gets pretty technical, but it makes so much sense. It all starts with this idea of zero trust reality.
This is the fundamental mental shift we have to make. For all of human history, our default has been seeing is believing.
I see a tiger, there's a tiger.
Exactly. Lee says we have to flip that completely on its head, to trust nothing, verify everything.
That sounds exhausting. It sounds like that first scenario, the era of exhaustion.
It would be if we had to do all the verifying manually. But Lee's point is that the infrastructure should do it for us. He says in the digital world, reality doesn't just exist, it loads.
Right.
And in that millisecond between a click and the video playing, we need automated verification to happen. And he breaks it down into 3 layers.
Okay, let's go through them. Layer 1 is origin.
This basically answers the question, where did this come from? It's all about tackling pure fabrication. And the key here is a standard called C2PD.
Which is like that digital passport for content we talked about.
It's deeper than just a checkmark. It's baked into the file's DNA. He mentions Sony's capture layer tech. Imagine a camera that cryptographically signs a photo the instant the shutter clicks.
So it locks in the data, the time, The GPS location, the device.
Everything. So if someone tries to create a fake photo of a protest with an AI image generator, it won't have that signature from a real camera. Your browser would flag it instantly. No origin data.
It doesn't say this is fake, but it says this was not captured by a camera in the real world.
Exactly. That's a huge step.
Okay, so that stops the pure fakes. But what if I take a real photo, one that has a valid signature, and I just tweak it? You know, I Photoshop in a few more people to make a crowd look bigger.
And that brings us to layer 2, integrity. This answers the question, has this been altered in any way?
And this is where the cool cryptography comes in.
It is. It uses something called the avalanche effect. The idea is that if you change even a single pixel in a digital file, just one tiny dot of color,
It changes the entire digital fingerprint of the file, the hash.
completely. So there's no such thing as a small edit. Lee uses that example of the slowed down Nancy Pelosi video.
Right, that wasn't a deep fake. It was just a simple edit to change the speed to make her sound impaired.
Exactly. But under an integrity protocol, your browser would check the hash of the video you're watching against the original hash that was registered when it was created. They wouldn't match.
And you get a warning. Altered content.
Instantly. You wouldn't have to guess if it was manipulated. The system would tell you.
Okay, so we've got origin, where it came from, and integrity. Has it been changed? But Lee says there's a third layer, and it's the hardest one to solve. Context.
This is the Integrated Context Engine, or IC, and it's designed to fight what he calls misplaced truth.
Misplaced truth.
What's that?
It's when you have a piece of content that is 100% real and unaltered, but it's used in a false context to tell a lie.
Ah, I see. Like real footage of a war zone from 5 years ago being passed off as something that's happening right now to stir up panic.
That's the perfect example, and that's what he calls the silo trap. The video detector says this video is real, the audio detector says the audio is real, but the story being told is a complete lie.
And the first two layers can't catch that.
They can't. That's what ICE is for. It's a system that tries to reconstruct the event. It asks, does the timestamp on this file match the claimed date of the event? Does the GPS data match the claimed location?
It's checking for coherence.
Yes. It might even cross-reference other data. This video claims to be from Paris yesterday, but it's showing heavy snow, and the weather report for Paris was sunny. It computes coherence, not just individual facts.
That's incredibly sophisticated. It's like giving the internet a memory so things can't just be ripped out of their original context.
That's a great way to put it.
But, and here's the skeptic in me again, all of this sounds great, but it also sounds expensive. It takes processing power. Why would the big platforms do this? Right now, the algorithm loves outrage, and lies travel way faster than truth.
You've hit the nail on the head, and that's his next point. Technology alone is not enough. We need the political and economic architecture to support it. He calls this the truth resilience layer, or TRL.
Because right now, all the incentives are wrong.
Completely wrong. We operate on a model of verification later. We let the lie go viral, get millions of views, and then some poor fact checker tries to clean up the mess after the damage is already done.
He argues we need to shift to verification first.
Yes. Protocols that filter and verify content before it gets amplified to millions of people.
And he uses some big historical analogies for this. He talks about a digital Westphalia.
It's a heavy analogy, but it fits perfectly. When the printing press was invented, it created absolute chaos. Propaganda was everywhere. It fueled the 30 Years' War in Europe. Information broke free of its old containers.
And the Peace of Westphalia established borders and sovereignty to create some kind of order again.
Lee says we are living through the digital 30 Years' War right now. The old borders of information are gone. We need a new digital Westphalia to define the rules for digital sovereignty.
And he also brings up Standard Oil.
Which gets us back to the economics. That's the antitrust argument. Right now, the power to shape reality with AI is concentrated in just a handful of huge companies.
It's like the oil monopolies of the 20th century.
Exactly. We need an antitrust style of thinking, not just to break up companies, but to ensure no single algorithm has a monopoly on what's real.
Because if one company controls the integrated context engine, they effectively control history.
They do. Decentralization becomes a security feature.
There's one last piece to this architecture that I found really interesting. It moves beyond technology and laws and focuses on us, the human upgrade.
Yes, this part is crucial. He says, look, when the Industrial Revolution happened, we built all these new, dangerous machines. We quickly realized we needed a literate workforce to operate them safely.
So we invented modern public education.
We built a system to upgrade the human operating system for that new era.
We didn't just hope people would figure it out.
And now we have the AI revolution. So we need a new upgrade. We need what he calls cognitive immunity. We have to teach people, teach our kids, how to discern truth from noise. Not just how to code, but how to understand algorithmic manipulation and how to verify what they see.
So it's not just about being smart. It's about being immune to the virus of fake reality.
That's it. You can't stop the virus from existing, but you can vaccinate the population.
So wrapping this all up, what does this mean for us, for you listening right now? It feels like we are at a major fork in the road.
We really are. I think Lee's ultimate point is that this massive loss of trust we're all feeling, it isn't a moral failing. We didn't just become worse people over the last decade.
It's a design failure.
It's a design failure. We outsourced our collective sense of goodness to systems that were never designed to support it.
We built a digital world optimized for speed and engagement, but we forgot to build the foundations for trust. We put up the skyscraper without the steel beams.
And now we have to choose. Do we want that white city of Ashgabat, that perfectly efficient, safe, but completely controlled world? Or are we willing to do the hard work of building the architecture for Homo Trustus?
That third path reconstruction, it sounds a lot harder.
It is harder. It requires us to demand more, to demand that platforms build in these origin and integrity layers. It might even mean we have to, pay for truth instead of getting free content that's paid for by outrage and ads.
But the alternative is what? The slow collapse of shared reality.
Precisely. And I think the final, most provocative thought Lee leaves us with is this. Technology doesn't decide our future.
Politics and design do.
Right. We often feel so helpless, like AI is this giant tidal wave just washing over us.
But a wave can be surfed.
A wave can be surfed, it can be channeled. We have to choose to build the infrastructure that allows for ordinary, everyday decency to survive online. We are not passive victims in this.
It really changes how you look at your phone, doesn't it? It's not just a feed anymore. It's a battleground for reality itself. And we need to start checking the architecture.
Absolutely. The next time you see a video that makes your blood boil, just pause. Ask yourself, where's the digital passport? Has the integrity been checked? Is this context coherent? You have to be Homo Trustus.
A perfect place to leave it. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the architecture of trust. It is a heavy topic, but knowing there's a blueprint at least gives me some hope.
It was a pleasure. Let's keep building.
Catch you on the next deep dive.